I'm sure a lot of people have gone through this phase on the internet before. I know I did. What I'm talking about is my Anti SJW phase. I resent that phase of my life for so many reasons, and we're going to discuss why. But to give a bit of background, let's sum up how I became an Anti SJW and why I joined the community at first. Okay, so around early 2018, I was on the Reception Wikis, a wiki service dedicated to criticizing or praising bad movies, good video games, bad video games, etc. And one thing that I had seen on the wiki and that I had seen um, on the internet was comments in YouTube videos talking about SJWs, and I was like, what the fuck is an SJW? So immediately I looked it up, and when I found out that some Tumblr users ended up harassing a fan artist online, and because of my pro-Trump bias when I was a Trump supporter, I ended up thinking that people hate Trump simply because they just blindly hate him or whatever. Obviously, that's not the reason why many people hate Trump. That there's plenty of reasons as to why people hate Trump. But anyways, because of this, I started to join the reception wikis and became a user and became part of the community. And I became an anti-SJW. I started watching YouTubers like Hunter Avalon, Paul Joseph Watson, and I started going on and on about how political correctness was going way too far, how people were, getting offended easily at everything. I was calling people social justice warriors. God, that phase of my life, I just don't like it. But anyways, this phase didn't last too long. I started to get disillusioned when Trump mocked a disabled reporter or veteran or whatever, and when he did the government shutdown just to build the wall, which I think was pretty stupid. And what else helped me become disillusioned during the phases? I saw what segregationists did by using the Confederate flag for white supremacy, and it showed me really what that flag truly represents. And I stopped defending the Confederate flag. I started to become more open to the idea of being liberal. I realized that I'm not actually a liberal, I'm a leftist now. But we're not here to talk about current me today, we're here to talk about past me. So, what happened was that I ended up, becoming disillusioned because I was starting to realize that a lot of these anti-SJW content creators weren't as great as people made them out to be, and they had their own problems. And I started to dislike them, and I stopped watching these creators for a while. And then I started to eventually just leave the anti-SJW community after I saw some horrible things done in the name of the community, such as harassment campaigns, or whether it's review bombing a movie simply because it had a female protagonist, and getting upset over a gay wedding episode and Bo Peep in Toy Story 4. I watched Captain Marvel, and I loved it. And at the time, anti-SJWs were shitting on Captain Marvel and calling it a feminist film because apparently any film that has female characters that actually have agency and actually have a personality are apparently feminist in many people's eyes, rather than being simply a movie. And this angered me because I loved Captain Marvel. And while I don't exactly like Toy Story 4 all that much because I think it's an unnecessary conclusion to a series that already had a good conclusion in the third movie, I will say that the reaction to Bo Peep not being in her traditional outfit is just insane. And also, I started to realize that a lot of these anti-SJWs were complete terrible, utter trash and terrible wastes of oxygen and just overall were bad human beings in general. So I started watching more leftist YouTubers. What else helped me what else helped me get out of my anti-SJW phase was Malcolm X. I started learning more about him, and I started to become more open to the idea of white privilege and stuff like that. And ever since then, I became I started becoming more and more of a leftist, but my the final nail in the coffin for the Anti SJW phase for me was when right wingers started boycotting Nike and when there was a straight pride movement being made in 2019. Immediately, that's when I left the community, thanks to a YouTuber like Michael Mikey. Go check out his channel, by the way. But anyways, after that, it took some more de-radicalizing because I still had a lot of excess left over from my anti-SJW phase, but eventually by sometime in 2020, I was now changed into the person that I am today, a complete and full-on radical leftist, idealist, well, maybe not idealist, but I am a radical leftist now, and I became one during 2019 and mostly during 2021. And ever since then, I've been the ultra leftist that I am today. And I'm glad that I left my anti SJW phase, mainly because that phase of my life was very bad, especially considering that I used to defend Trump, the Confederate flag, and other things like that that I didn't need to defend or want to defend. The only reason I was doing it was because I was duped by these people into believing a stupid boogeyman such as SJWs. By the way, SJWs don't actually exist. They're nothing but a stupid boogeyman created by the alt-right to smear progressives. But anyways, that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm glad I got out of my anti-SJW phase, especially because that phase of my life was terrible. I don't think I was ever happy during that phase of my life. I remember being not really that happy during that phase. And most of all, I just resent that phase of my life because I was just such a bigoted prick back then. I was so upset over diversity in media when now future me would look back and say, what the hell was I thinking back then? And I do ask myself what the hell I was thinking back then, mainly because I just don't know why I got so up in arms over diversity in media or strong female characters. I don't get why I got so upset over that, and I don't get why I got so upset at people not liking the fact that Donald Trump got elected. You don't have to like a president's election, and you don't have to like the president that gets in office, especially because conservatives basically said the same stuff about Obama that a lot of people did to Trump. And while I dislike Trump for a lot of reasons and think he's a bad president, I will say this. Conservatives were way worse when Obama was elected. They were marching with signs that called him racist slurs and told him to hang himself and stuff like that. And that is honestly just terrible. But anyways, yeah. The anti-SJW phase I went through, I resent it for a lot of reasons. I used to be an edgy, bigoted prick, and I used to be this just reactionary person in general. I was reactionary to things that weren't even worth getting upset over. And I was being duped into a community that almost led me into the gateway of the alt-right rabbit hole. Anyways, the message I want to give in this video is don't fall for the anti-SJW community or their lies. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to Ben Shapiro. Don't listen to Paul Joseph Watson or Tucker Carlson or any of those other stupid idiots that have a platform such as theirs that say negative things about minorities, Jewish people, women, and the LGBT community, mainly because those people are hateful people, and they don't care for anyone. They don't care for the lives of anyone. They claim to be pro-life. They claim to be the true voice of the people. They claim to be this voice for free speech when really they're not. And anytime something's remotely left-leaning, they get all up in arms. So basically, don't trust the anti-SJW community and don't listen to them one bit. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Bye.